Welcome to the Adulting Podcast. I'm Zach Peter, a naturally platinum blonde podcaster, author, and sassy self-improvement addict spewing all those burning questions you're too afraid to ask.
And I'm Abigail Fraher, an unfiltered boss babe, daylighting as a lifestyle guru, stirring the pot on social issues. We're here to help you look cute,
live well,
work hard,
and stay woke.
Together,
let's conquer adulting. All right, welcome back to Adulting, everybody. I'm Zach Peter.
And I'm Abigail Fraher.
How are you doing? Are you staying?
I'm good.
Is it cold in New York right now? It's freezing. I'm like so cold in LA.
No, it's the opposite. It's so hot. It's like I don't know why I wore a sweater. I'm just pretending that it's November. I don't know what's going on, but the coast like flipped.
I have to do a photo shoot today and I have to wear shorts and I'm like freezing.
What is it like 55?
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, no, that's like the coldest I wanted to get, but I'm in for a rude awakening here.
Yeah, I'm just trying to survive today. I'm trying to survive. Like, that's like my approach to 2020 right now is just like survive today.
100%. Don't look down the tunnel.
Well, I'm hoping today's guest can help us like survive what's left of 2020 because I love her tweets. I've loved her books. She's a revolutionary food activist, a New York Times bestselling author that just sold out her most recent cookbook. She's the co-founder of the organic food brand True Vani, and she was even named one of the most influential people on the internet by Time magazine. So please welcome author of Food Babe Kitchen, Vani Hari.
Hi, Zach. Hi, Abigail. It's so good to see you guys.
We're so happy to have you, especially right now.
I know this is
everyone's at home.
Zoom podcasting meetings like this is like, it's like I get human interaction. This is wonderful.
I get to talk to somebody.
I need physical human interaction though, Vani. Like I need just like a man to hold me for like a good 15 minutes.
I just need a hug.
Well, Matthew McConaughey just came out with a book. Maybe he'll come on.
Oh, that'll be great.
I saw that, right?
He can tape here in my apartment.
Love it.
So we're going to kick off with a fun segment that we do with every guest, Vani. It's called Espresso Yourself that Abigail's going to kick off for you. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. So I'm going to start a sentence. You're going to finish it for me. The answers are a little different right now because of quarantine and COVID, but we're going to do the best we can. So the first one is I can't start my day without
lemon water.
You do the lemon water. Do you do apple cider vinegar too?
No, just lemon water.
No, just the lemon water.
Fresh
okay.
Lemon water. Yeah.
Okay. Do you use whole lemon, half lemon?
And why don't you do apple cider vinegar?
There's
I know, so many questions.
I don't do it. I think it's a little bit more shock to the system, apple cider vinegar. I take the more, even keel approach in the morning. But I actually used to do cayenne pepper too. But since I got pregnant, I'm 8 months pregnant right now, by the way.
Congrats.
Yeah,
oh
I can't do the pepper in the morning. But I do a half a lemon and my husband does the other half. So
I love that. You scared me for a moment, though. I was like, no apple cider vinegar. Are they like Subway? Do I have to like cut them off the list?
That's what I know.
No, I
do the apple cider and I was like,
salad instead.
Okay.
Or in my braised cabbage recipe in the book. Yeah. Apple cider vinegar is the star of that recipe.
I'm like, I can't wait for all the book plugs because like the recipes look amazing. You're like, and in my book, there's this cabbage. And I'm like, okay. November 20th is coming fast.
I'm so sorry you have to wait this long. I mean, first of all, I'm so shocked that it's sold out, but I'm also there's the equally as like irritated with it because, once you come out with something, you've been working on it for so long. I mean, I've been working on it for 5 years. And it's such a piece of my life and it's such a personal piece of my life. It's like photos of my family that I've never shared before publicly and just stories about my family and even has recipes from my mother and just so many detailed things that just go on a totally different level than my last two books, which were very activist focused. And so it just felt like a part of my heart to you. And now that it's sold out, it's like, I just want to get this out in the world, but like people have to wait and some people are mad. They're like, Vani, I pre-ordered and I still don't have it. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's out of my control. Like, I mean, with COVID happening, there's so many different things that you would never think that get disrupted, like shipping and printing and running out of paper. My book is actually being printed in the United States, but there are some other books that are also being printed by my same publisher that is taking a lot of paper as well. Like Barack Obama is coming out with a book in a couple weeks, and people have like bought that book by the millions. And the people who have already bought that book and it hasn't even come out, they're not going to even get it, I hear, because there's just not enough paper. So there's so many things happening. So if anybody wants this book, you got to order it now so it gets here before Christmas. I'm telling you.
Yes.
It's
Order
it's kind of
early.
crazy. And I'm doing everything I can with my publisher to make things better, but it's very, I have to say, as an author, it's very frustrating. I have to just be honest.
But it's also available it's for an ebook, right?
Kindle.
Of course, yeah. It's on Kindle and iBooks and iTunes, all the things, Nook, all of that too. So what I've recommended people do is go get that now so that they can start making all the recipes and just wait for the book. Because the book in person is just, I just can't wait for you guys to see it. It's really pretty.
Right. No, 100%. So the next one is, I feel sexiest when
I'm eating healthy. Yeah, I know that's a lame answer, but it's true.
That's not lame. Not lame at all.
It's nourishing your body, especially
Like
with
when I drink my green shake in the morning, I have this recipe for a hearty shake in the book, and I drink that most mornings, like before my oatmeal, or it depends if I'm tired. I sometimes don't make it, but I'd say 5 out of the 7 days a week I make it. I feel really good when I have that. I mean, it has a little ginger in it. It's got pear and apple, and and all these greens and celery, and it's awesome. So
that sounds so good. Like I feel like a good green juice or smoothie like really sets you up. Like you're just like, I feel healthy, and like it makes you want to continue it through the day. I don't know, something about that. I fully agree.
It makes me feel like I don't need to eat a salad at lunch.
Yeah. You're like, I can avoid the
have
lettuce.
a grilled cheese and French fries.
The next one is when I work out or go to the gym,
when I work out or go to the gym, I feel amazing afterwards, and my anxiety goes away. I have to do it. And I have to do it even more so being pregnant, because people don't realize that when you are pregnant and you have a child, it's like athletic sport at the end. Like to give birth naturally, like the way I want to do it the second time too. You really have to be in shape. And then also, in order to avoid all the complications of pregnancy, you have to be in shape. And I just yesterday went to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, your blood pressure's a little high. And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? That like threw me off. But I had spent the whole weekend in the mountains at this beautiful farm called Blackberry Farm. And they have the most rich, ridiculous food. And I ate everything because I just did not.
You're on vacation.
It was all on the farm. It was all
right.
Good, getting food. But it probably had like 3 sticks of butter in each meal.
Oh my God.
And so I think my blood pressure was high because of that trip. And it's just, not my normal way of eating. And so I'm going to check it in a couple of days, and I'm sure it'll go down. But if it doesn't, it means I got to get myself into high gear. I got to make sure I make it to the gym. I make sure, I'm feeling good. Because without these lifestyle habits, you're just destined to fail. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
It's true.
And then the last one is, I feel most like a boss when
that's a good question.
When my book sells out.
I know, right? Like when my book's sold out.
Well, I guess I did. It was great to hit the New York Times bestseller list again. I mean, that's always a great accomplishment as a author, but that's not really what I feel like a boss the most is when someone around me, like my family members or someone who has been a naysayer, comes around and is like, you're right. And I could be like, I told you so.
Yes. I love that. That's so good.
And I'm just thinking about my brother here in that respect, because it took so many years to be in the Food Babe and eventually like writing a book and being featured everywhere and this and that to finally get through to him. And now he's like living his like a best life. And I just love seeing him so healthy and lean and happy. And I just think about him. And when I think of his progress, I'm like, I'm a boss. I like changed my brother who never listened to his little sister, you know?
I love
That's
that.
such a good feeling. And being right's always a good feeling. So
Little ego boost. Hold up, wait a minute, because I got a hot deal you're not going to want to miss. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless can only be found at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months completely free. As the first company to sell premium wireless services online only, Mint Mobile lets you safely order from your home and maximize your savings with plans starting at just $15 a month. I've been using Mint Mobile long before this holiday deal, and I have to say, it's the perfect time to switch. I couldn't be any happier with my service. And if you're not completely satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. So, for a limited time, buy any 3-month Mint Mobile plan and get 3 months for free by going to mintmobile.com/adulting. That's mintmobile.com/adulting. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/adulting. So since this is an unprecedented year, that's like the word of 2020, unprecedented.
yes.
What advice or like how are you staying sane going through, like you have to like keep your mental health in check. If you're home with your family or your hubby or your kids, you're like needing some physical social distancing from them sometimes. How have you been kind of, staying sane in 2020, Vani?
Well, the first half was very difficult, the whole lockdown period of no gyms. And I think this is the case maybe even for you, Zach. I don't think gyms are even open in LA right now.
No.
And in New York, you have to wear a mask when you're at the gym, which is
it's been fun.
crazy town. I just can't imagine doing the type of level of exercise I used to do before I was pregnant with a mask on. Like I couldn't even imagine. But
I have to stop on the treadmill and like drink water so I can because like you can't just take your mask off. So I'm like, if you watch me, I'm like wiping my face every like 2 minutes so I could take my mask off to like wipe it with a towel or
breathe.
Like I'll like fake drink water because it's just so. I started folding it under, and then I have the ones that like bend, like the disposable, and so I like pull them straight. So there's a little bit more room there.
Well, I mean, I think I don't know if that's safe, and I mean, I think there's a lot of data that has yet to be revealed about the safety of certain things. I mean, I think they make sense in certain settings, but not when you're exercising at a very high.
And you're 6 feet apart anyway.
Yeah, you are, and so it's. That part is really tough in terms of all the things we have to get used to, this kind of new social norm that they want us to get used to. So for the first half, not having my routine, not going out of the house, and I was already working from home anyway, so I didn't have to change any of that. My daughter was set to start school in the spring, but school didn't happen. So she's 3, and so she didn't go until September. And thankfully, the school that she was going to is pretty they're pretty cool about things and not too crazy about all the new regulations and stuff. So she went to school, and so things got so much better in the fall for me, where I could get back to the gym and I could go do the things I can do to get out of the house and the social interaction. But mentally, going through a book launch without having one single book signing with an individual, a member of the Food Babe Army or anybody out there who is a fan or anything. I mean, that's the funnest part of writing a book, is meeting all of you guys out there who are reading the book and learning from it and talking to you in real life. And I didn't get to do any of that. And that was really depressing. And so mentally, I'm not, I mean, I have to just be honest with you. I'm not doing good, because there's just a lot of things happening in the world that are very frustrating to me in terms of how we're handling health as a nation, because, I truly believe like the government is not going to save us. Like, I don't think all of a sudden that they care about us because of this virus.
Yeah.
I think that there are other interests at play here that are driving a lot of these decisions. And that really irritates me because I see so many innocent people falling prey to these new standards that the government's coming out with and just going along with it. And, I could just mention 10 stupid COVID rules that, that exist right now that just completely have zero science behind them, will not help anyone avoid the virus, and actually in some cases make them
more prone or susceptible
to the virus. Like, for example, the one-way lines at my very crowded Whole Foods, those one-way lines are doubling the time it takes me to grocery shop.
Yeah.
So if I'm spending double the amount of time grocery shopping
in the enclosed space, right?
In the enclosed space, I'm doubling the amount of exposure I have. So those kind of rules that just don't make any sense, especially when, I don't know how your Whole Foods are. You guys are from big cities, so your Whole Foods are a little more compact, but in Charlotte, we have this giant, ridiculous one where the aisles are so long. So if you have to wait to go down one of them a certain way, it's going to take you all day. And so I just, I've used my social media platform to kind of point out these discrepancies in what we're being told and just show how idiotic some of these things are, what's happening out there. So people start to question hey, maybe I shouldn't just blindly follow some of these things. Maybe there's some other things that I should be paying attention to and spending my focus on. And also, maybe I shouldn't be as afraid as the media and the politicians want me to be.
Right.
And I need to take kind of ownership, not kind of, but really take ownership of my own health. And so I've always been one of those proponents of the government's not going to save you. You're going to save yourself. And that's what every single book that I've ever written has always, hopefully, the message at the end of it has left the reader. I mean, the first book, The Food Babe Way, was all about how to end the control of processed foods in your life and taking you through a 21-day journey on how to remove processed foods from your diet and instill really good habits to help you break free from that life. And then Feeding You Lies was all about the propaganda and the marketing and the manipulation tactics the food industry has used over the years to convince us to eat crap, and how to look at those tactics in the future so that you don't fall prey to them any longer, and so that you can be your own health advocate and your own nutritionist. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to know about food chemicals. Like, you can figure this stuff out on your own. And then the third book, my latest, is Food Babe Kitchen, which is the tools, like how to completely transform your kitchen. The first 55 pages is how to transform every single thing you're using in your pantry, in your drawers, in your refrigerator, in your freezer. And I take you through the whole process, and even how you reheat your food and how you store your food and all the utensils you're using and pots and pans. And I just want you to have the healthiest environment, especially when you're taking the time to buy the healthiest ingredients to make the food, which has the 100 different recipes with a photograph for each one in there. So what I've realized just from my own journey, which was, I grew up super unhealthy, super addicted to prescription drugs because I was put on them at a very early age. And I thought that was the only way to make my symptoms go away. The eczema all over my face and my body, my asthma, my allergies, my anxiety, my depression, all of those things. And I grew up in the situation where, if you had a problem, you would go to the doctor, you would get a pill and a prescription, and you would try to feel better. Mm-hmm. And that just didn't work for me. And when I hit rock bottom in my early 20s and finally had my awake moment where I said that enough is enough, and took back control of my health and started to actually learn about nutrition and teach myself about food. And when I started to make the changes that I was learning about and seeing that I could get off every single prescription drug that I was on just by eating right and following some really healthy habits like exercise and making sure I get enough sunlight, and spending time outdoors, stuff that I didn't do as a child or, as a college person. It wasn't, I was never one of those people that took a blanket and put it on the lawn in college and studied, right? Like, no, I was like, ew, yuck. There's like, pollen out there. I'm going to freeze to death. You know what I mean? I just was never that outdoorsy type person. Because I was always so sick and sneezing and coughing and getting, just being really super uncomfortable. But when I started to change my diet to a real food diet, all those symptoms went away. And so all of a sudden I found myself like grounding and being, going out there barefoot.
The lifestyle shifts, your whole mindset shifts.
Everything shifted and my body shifted. And I realized, gosh, I need nature to heal.
Yeah.
And just became a huge nature lover. I hated going to the farmer's market with my mom growing up. It was like the worst time ever. And now I can't wait to go. And, thankfully my daughter, the way we're raising her is she's just a farmer in her own right. She can pick anything. And we just, again, spent last weekend at Blackberry Farm and she was in her element, just picking everything, including cotton. And it was really funny. She asked, Mommy, why can't we eat the cotton? And I was like, actually the food industry puts non-organic hydrogenated cottonseed oil in our food. It's regulated as a textile, and people don't realize this, but it's in a lot of different, very popular products. Mm-hmm. And a lot of restaurants use it to fry French fries in and whatever else they're frying stuff in. And it's something that we definitely don't want to be eating. It's one of the most toxic oils there is and is actually produced with hexane, which is a carcinogenic gas. And anyways, I didn't tell her all those details, but
I was like, that's a loaded response, but I'm also over here like, oh my God.
I didn't get into with her, but I did tell her that, they do make oil from cottonseed production from the byproducts of it. And they actually feed it to animals and they feed it to humans. And it's one of the cheapest ways to put oil in our food. And it's the most unhealthy. But anyway, so we get into these conversations and she understands some of it, I hope, and it's gonna make an impact on her knowledge about food and be able to hopefully tell her friends at school. And
I love that because I feel like one thing that I've always loved and appreciated about you is you are willing to give people the information, show them the receipts to empower them. You're not telling people how to live their lives. And this is kind of my biggest concern is we've, as a nation, just kind of fallen back and been like, or just like, okay, tell me what to do. You want me to, not go outside for 4 weeks at a time? Fine. I just won't leave my house, without actually like putting your critical thinking cap on and looking into these things. And I hate that even right now, our country has shut down there to be any sort of dialogue or disagreement. Whereas like everyone keeps saying, listen to the scientists, listen to the science. First of all, we need to remember that like, science is not fact. Math is fact. 2 + 2 = 4. Science is theory and hypotheses, and it's ever changing and ever evolving. And you have just as many scientists and credible MD doctors that are coming out and having a difference of opinion. Because at the end of the day, when there is, science and theory, all it is a fancy person with an opinion making the best suggestion that they can, and I have nothing but respect for them. But like, we need to be willing to have a dialogue with people that we don't agree with so that we can continue to ask questions and continue to investigate. And that's what I loved about Food Babe, which really kind of opened up my whole world, was reading that book. And then when I was reading Feeding You Lies, I was like, wow, there's a lot of big money and big power people that will go to very extreme lengths because they have an agenda and they want to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do. And we see it with the beer industry and with the alcohol industry, which we talked about last time you were on the show, and especially with the food industry, that it's like you really need to do your own research, do your own digging, don't just listen to what, Nancy or Joe say on Facebook and Instagram, or even listen to what I or you say on a podcast. Like, people need to actually go out and empower themselves and read the information. And the hard part and the scariest part, which I think most people are afraid of, is once you learn the information, you can't unlearn it. You can't put the wool back over your eyes.
Yeah.
So since we're in this place of living on Postmates and just kind of sitting on our couch all day and just ordering in all of this junk food, what advice do you have to people that, maybe aren't happy with the place that they're in? Maybe they feel like, oh, I've gained 15 pounds and I'm more depressed. Like, what steps can they take to actually get their life back on track or feel like they have more control over their lives?
Well, first of all, you have to have a group of people that are like in your pod, right? Like you're kind of like safe COVID pod. And, I don't want to tell people not to social distance on here because I'll get completely lambasted. But, but I think you need to have community. You need to see your friends. You need to go out and see them. Like, it's very important that you leave the house. It's so important. I can't imagine some of these countries right now that are going back into lockdown right now. And you have to get in Greece, for example, you have to get permission to leave your house. Thankfully, we live in the United States and that's not the case. So you can leave your house, you can find friends to talk to and go meet them for coffee, stay 6 feet apart, whatever you feel comfortable doing. But get out of the house. You just got to do it. And that was the best thing that I did over the summer. We left the country. We went to a French island and we got stuck there because they wouldn't, we couldn't get back because the borders had closed. And so we just stayed there for a month and it was great.
So nice. Yeah.
And if I didn't have that, I probably would have gone crazy by now. But I'm not saying you need to do it to that extreme. But you definitely need to get out of your house. The second thing is that food really does affect your mood and does affect how you're feeling, period. It always does. So if you've been eating too much Postmates and Uber Eats, you need to rein it back in. And one way to do that is obviously Food Babe Kitchen. And, there's tons of free recipes too on my website, foodbabe.com, that you can start making immediately. And you can just start to make, small changes. Change your breakfast every day to something green and healthy, adding vegetables to your breakfast, or, change what you're doing for lunch. Meal prep the day before for those times where you're ordering out the most often. For me, I'm ordering out the most often usually is at lunchtime. So if I haven't pre-prepped something or I know I have some groceries in the fridge, I'm ordering out for lunch because I'm busy. I have meetings, I got podcasts, I got things to do. And so that's the part where it happens the day before with meal planning. That's such a crucial part of healthy living, is to say, hey, what's in my fridge for tomorrow at lunch when I have 20 minutes where I need to figure out something to eat really quick instead of ordering, whatever you order. But that's really important. And then the third thing is like exercise. Exercise is the most mood boosting activity we have, and if you can do it outside, even better. And in New York, I would be doing it outside instead of going into a gym with a mask on. But, I love my classes, so I get it.
Yeah.
I love my Orange Theory and my cycle classes and my Pilates. And we have this other method here in town called Hilliard Studio Method, and that I love. And, but everything is like down to like 25% capacity or whatever. So I can't ever get into these classes anyways. Well,
what's nice about New York too is you can walk everywhere. Like I haven't taken the subway. Like I walk to Central Park and I'm in like Chelsea. Like I've been walking like 4 miles a day on average, which is
that's amazing.
what I
great.
love. That's what I love about downtown.
Yeah.
I walk to the
Downtown.
market, I walk to Target, or I just go on I would just go on like a walk for like an hour to get out.
Zach, you live in downtown LA?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I stayed a week there when I went to Summit. And so downtown LA is such a cool place. I'd never spent time there before that. It is. Do you eat at Chico's? Chico's tacos?
I haven't. I've heard about it from so many people. I have because here's the thing: when you live downtown, you stick to your street because
You're a little like
yeah. Everything you have everything in a 2-block radius. So like, I literally there are 2 taco joints that I go to within a 2-block radius, and I always just go to those 2 because those are they've become my go-tos. So I don't often divvy out, but I need to explore. I mean, I loved coming to downtown before I lived here because of all of the variety and good food and places to shop. But no, I'll definitely check out Chico's. I've heard about it for so long.
Oh my gosh.
Go
we
tonight.
Ate Chico's I don't know, 6 times.
Gonna Postmates it right now.
It's organic. It's like organic tacos, organic burritos, organic everything. It's delicious. I wish we had a Chico's here in Charlotte. Oh my gosh.
So that was like kind of on the topic of like when I was looking at doing my prep. I saw Starbucks on your thing and Chipotle, and like those are the only 2 that like I don't typically do fast food, but like Chipotle, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go get like a bowl without rice, and now I'm like, oh my God, I can't eat there anymore. I don't know what's in it, but I saw it on your list. So like,
well, no, they're good now. They're good now.
Okay.
So so maybe if you read an old blog post,
okay,
it's outdated, but
okay.
But before campaigning them, they had this amazing tagline, and I think they may still use it: "Food with integrity." And but back then they wouldn't tell you what was in it. And the reason is because they were using trans fats and GMOs and all sorts of additives and preservatives and not telling anyone.
Okay. And now they're not, though?
No, because we called them out. They removed all of those, and they went a step further and took out all the GMOs from their food.
Okay.
And so that's Chipotle is one of the places I'll go, even when I'm traveling with my daughter, and the kids' meals and everything are so good there, and they give the kids little orange. It's so beautiful. I love it. I don't have to, I know that she's going to eat, avocado and, black beans and, something really healthy. Of course she wants that tortilla too, who doesn't want a tortilla, but,
they're so good.
they're so good. Right. But I tell you this, there's something new at Chipotle that I had recently, and it was like crack rock. Not that I've ever had crack rock. But
but if I imagine it would be like that.
So good. They partnered with this company called Aguas. I can't remember. It might be Aguas Chicas or something like that. Where it's this very fancy bottled organic lemonade company and drink company. And you can only get it at Chipotle or at very fancy restaurants. You cannot get it like at the grocery store. You wouldn't be able to buy a case of this at Whole Foods or anything because I tried. But it's literally the best organic lemonade I've ever had. And the ingredients are amazing. And it's, a ton of sugar in there. So, beware. But wow, that organic lemonade was insane. And I was so excited for them to come out with this because they've been the only thing that's really, truly like evil still at Chipotle is the Coke machines, right? The Coke, the Diet Coke, all that stuff. Right. A lot of people don't know this, but in fountain Diet Coke, they use this ingredient that you wouldn't find on the Diet Coke that you see on the shelf. It's called dimethyl polysiloxane. It's the same ingredient in silly putty and can be preserved with formaldehyde, according to the FDA. So super toxic ingredient, does not belong in our food. They actually use it at McDonald's French fries too. And, but if you get a Diet Coke out of a fountain machine,
wow,
dimethyl polysiloxane, it's disgusting.
Wow, that's crazy. And that's probably why like you always hear people like, oh, I want a fountain drink, like over the canned. It's like,
oh yeah, because fountain drinks taste way better, right?
Right. And you're like, oh, that's why. Huh?
Oh man,
kill yourself, but enjoy it.
I don't think I've had soda, like a Coke, in like 13 years.
Good for you, Zach.
I can't even imagine putting it back into my body.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm like, well, actually, I guess I don't. I would say like I've probably had like 3 in the last 6 months, like a Coke Zero, where I'm like, oh my God, I really want one. And I'm like, but then I only drink like half of it. It's still bad. Still shouldn't be doing it. But I never drank soda growing up either. I started drinking soda in college when we would make like mixed drinks. That's when I started drinking it.
That's the time people usually do Coke.
Thanks. And then afterwards, I would start like craving like Dr. Pepper or Diet Coke. And like now I just do like tequila water. But that's where I never drank soda growing up. College just drove me.
I usually like am not like, once I cut out sugar and sodas, like my life like just kind of, I didn't crave it as much anymore. I will say though, over Halloween, I was having my stepsister and my cousin and my brother coming over to spend the night with me. So I bought candy mostly for decoration. Not that I was ever going to eat it, but I bought a bunch of candy corn just because it looked very decorative. And I was like, I'm never going to eat this. And then I ended up eating it. And it's like, it's so fucking addictive because you like can't stop once you get back on the sugar bug. I was like, ooh, I need to not hit this gateway drug anymore.
That is definitely a gateway drug, candy corn. But they make organic ones now.
But
I gave them out for Halloween.
I love the organic ones, but that's the hard thing with downtown is our Whole Foods is so small. Our whole holiday aisle is like two little shelves in like a corner, and like I couldn't find it. But I loved the organic candy corn.
I'm a chocolate person through and through.
So speaking of chocolate, I just ordered, it's funny. So because the holidays are coming up, and I went to Target this morning after I dropped my daughter off at school, and I was like, I'm feeling a little bit festive. It's almost Thanksgiving. I think I need to start getting some holiday decorations before everybody else gets them, because everything gets picked over really quick.
Picked over, yes, yeah.
So I went to Target this morning super early. It was like 9 a.m. And looking at all the holiday stuff, and I go into what I call the holiday death aisle. And that's the aisle where you normally find the candy corns during Halloween, right? So it's all the regular, Reese's peanut butter cups and the Almond Joys and the whatevers and the Andes mints and all that kind of stuff, but wrapped in holiday packaging, right? All the different little things you put in your stocking, all that stuff in the back of Target. And I walked down that aisle and I'm like, oh, I know they're going to have some organic stuff that I can get to just, give to my daughter as a treat here and there. And there was nothing. There was nothing there yet. Anyways, I mean, they hadn't put everything out yet. So,
wow.
Normally Target has one or two options. They had nothing. Okay. And then so I started just looking at the back of packages of things that I used to buy. And those Andy mints were there. And I could eat a whole
Olive Garden. Right? Oh my God.
Olive Garden. Right? Yeah, I would keep asking
can I have
more? Yeah. Those things are like crack, right? Those are crack too.
Yeah.
Anyways. And I look at the ingredients and I get so mad. I mean, just the worst colors, things that are considered carcinogens in our food, just the worst ingredients ever. And I just get so mad. So then I remember when I get home, I said, I remember this company, Lake Champlain is what it's called. And again, I'm not affiliated with Chipotle or any of these things I'm recommending, by the way. I'm just affiliated with my books and True Body, for anybody who's wondering. But anyways, I go home and you mentioned chocolate, so I would mention this to everyone just because I want people to have healthier options. I go to Lake Champlain. It's this chocolate company, and they have a huge assortment of organic Christmas candies. And they even have turkeys right now that are in the shape of a turkey. That's an organic piece of chocolate.
Oh my God.
That you could put at each place setting for Thanksgiving. I thought about buying like 12 of them, like for my family. Because wouldn't that be so cute to have at each place setting?
Yes.
Like
that'd be adorable.
Turkey. So I bought one of those for my daughter, but then I might go back and get more. But anyways, and then they had little Santa heads that were white chocolate for the beard, and it was just the cutest thing. Little chocolate Santa lollipops, but they were organic. And so anyways, I got those, and I got some little chocolate coins and some other things that, I can have here at my house as backup in case, my daughter is, exposed to some treats and she's like wondering why she can't have any. That way she knows she has like good stuff at home.
Sure.
So, or I can have good stuff in my pocketbook or wherever hiding in case for those situations. Right. And so that she can have that little bit of a treat. Cause I want her to live a normal life. I don't want her to be feel deprived or, feel like she can't have something that's delicious and yummy. And
because even that's not healthy when we deprive ourselves of certain indulgences, like it even messes with our brain.
but you do have to go out of your way, like I did, which was, go online, order this stuff, and I'm gonna have to wait for it. But at least it's going to come, and I'm really excited. And Target, if you're listening to this podcast, maybe you should start, putting that on your
carrying better options.
Yeah, I would people would totally buy this stuff up.
And Target, if you are listening to this podcast, we would appreciate you as a sponsor.
Right.
Gonna put that out there.
Be great.
So we like to close out every conversation with our 3 biggest takeaways from what we just discussed. So Abigail, do you want me to start?
Yeah, because you always make me.
I always put her in the hot seat. Okay, so I think my first biggest takeaway is that, like you said, Vani, the government's not going to come and save you. Only you can save you. So empower yourself. Do your own research. Like me, I love to play devil's advocate. I was just talking about how last week, I was watching the Trump documentary because I wanted to see like what it was how he got to the place that he's in today. So play devil's advocate. Really do your own research because, like Vani said, the government, nobody is going to save you. Not your man, not your mom. Like nobody's going to save you but you. So make sure you're doing you. The next big one is community is very important. I know some people are really scared and the best that they can do right now is Zoom and FaceTime. I think that that's great. But if you can, go and see your mom and take her a coffee or just, have that connection, especially, with our family members that live alone, it can be really hard on them. So connection is key. Make sure we don't detach from connection. Even if you have to stay 12 feet apart, fine. Just make sure that, they want to see your beautiful face, even though, I look like I take a ring light with me everywhere. So I always look like this. Even in person.
Like, hey.
And then my last biggest takeaway was Abigail first started doing Coke in college.
Yep. There we go.
That's where she got hooked on soda.
People are going to hear that and they're going to be like, are you good? How are you doing? For mine, I would say that I think overall it's a matter of not feeling overwhelmed of like, I have to change everything today. It's like you said, gradual, starting with changing your breakfast, starting with not getting going and out of your way to get organic chocolate instead of the standard sweets that you get. Going to Chipotle and, not getting the soda. I think also being outside, like that is a huge, like vitamin D, just getting fresh air. It's okay to do that, even though sometimes we feel like it's not okay to do that. And then I would say lastly, order your cookbook now so that you can start prepping before Christmas. And then also more importantly, after Christmas, after you do have like all those rich foods.
Yeah, everyone needs to
go. For real, these recipes will get you back on track in January.
Yes.
So.
Vani,
I want to get on track before. Yeah. Let me start now.
Go download it on Kindle now because it's sold out because it's so good. Vani, was there anything else that we missed or that you really wanted to hammer in for our audience before we part ways?
Yeah, well, I didn't talk much about Truvani, and I just want to mention it because I think it's so important. The reason I started my own product company is because there were so many products that I was personally using that were getting bought out by big, huge chemical companies. And then they would change the ingredients and they would change it right under my nose and put a synthetic chemical in there or something. And I would keep buying this product. And then all of a sudden I would just be like randomly looking at the label and being like, whoa, what's happened here? And enough, was enough. And so I decided to create my own product company, and we are creating the most amazing supplements right now and protein powders on the market. You cannot find a cleaner protein powder or one that tastes better than ours. Our vanilla, our chocolate, and we have 2 new flavors: banana cinnamon and chocolate.
I saw that banana cinnamon.
I would love to send you guys some, so please make sure I get your addresses after this, and so I can email them to me so that I can send you everything to try, because I really want to get your feedback on it, because it's something that we've spent so much time developing and we got it right, and we're using real food to make those flavors, not natural flavors or artificial flavors or finding peanut flavors from like a beaver's ass or anything like that. So,
no beaver's ass here.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, we're doing the real thing, and this is not something that I don't know of any other company really doing what we're doing. So, and next year in 2021, we are getting into personal care products as well.
Ooh.
And I'm really pumped about what we've been working on there. And so there's just so much exciting stuff. So if you guys want to see our products and see what's going on, you can go to truevani.com. I just want people to know about that. Because it's such a big part of what I do every day as well. So.
Yeah, and I think it's important to also mention, like, Abigail and I were having this conversation on the show last week about how it's very easy to think, because I know just to tie it to the episode we did on the election, like a lot of people think that, we're Joe Biden supporters. They think that, oh, my president won, so I feel good. And you kind of go to sleep. And we find that I've found myself falling into that pattern with these health food brands that we think, oh, this is a safe brand. This is a trusted brand. So then you fall asleep and think, I'm just going to keep buying into this brand and it's all good. And it's like, you should always, with every single aspect of your life, whether it's with health and wellness or politics, like never fall asleep. Always stay on top of it. Keep reading the ingredients, keep reading the disclaimer, keep reading the bottom line, and make sure that you are getting what you are buying. You're getting what you think that you're buying.
100%.
Absolutely.
Stay on your toes.
Vani, where can people buy your cookbook? Where can they follow you? Where can they get some of these delicious recipes that are in Food Babe Kitchen?
Well, you can find everything on foodbabe.com. You can specifically go to foodbabekitchen.com as well. And then, I'm at the Food Babe on all the social media channels. So come and follow me. Come say hello.
Love your Twitter.
Listen to this podcast. This was this podcast is one of the funnest ones I ever do. So thank you for inviting me. And I wish all of them were this much fun, because this is so nice. I just felt like I went and had, a smoothie with you guys and just hung out. So it's great.
Love it. Thank you. We always love chatting with you.
Yeah.
And everyone needs to follow, like, your Twitter and your Facebook. I'm always sharing your memes and always retweeting you, Vani. I'm all up on it.
Awesome. Thank you.
You guys can follow me at Just Plain Zack.
And you can follow me at Abigail _AF.
And don't forget to follow at The Adulting Podcast so you stay up to date with all of the latest show happenings. Be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review, because we're millennials and we love that validation. We want you to validate us, so give us 5 stars, please. Right now. 5 stars.
Please.
All right, guys.
If I said that to tell people to give me 5 stars on Amazon for my Food Babe cookbook, do you know the people who would come out to, like, for my throat? You guys,
yeah, they'd be like, you could seat it.
The thing is, Vani, my throat has been slashed. I've been nailed to the cross.
He's done.
I don't give a like at this point. Look, I can withstand 7 hours of bleach and toning my hair. There is not one troll on Twitter that can hurt me at this point. Okay. Thank you guys for listening to Adulting. And until next time, we're going to be busy.
#adulting.
Yay, and we're out.